What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Stray, the Brew Daniels. Oh, Delali. Today is a glorious day because we have another episode of the Indie Corner where I sit down with everybody from the independent community. Writers, artists, directors, producers, doesn't matter if you're in the game, I want to talk to you. And we have ourselves a returning guest I haven't spoken to in quite some time. I can't wait to catch up with him. He is the owner of Correct-Handed Comics. Give it up, everybody, for David Whalen.
Hey, Dre. Thanks for having me on again, man. I really appreciate it. It's been too long.
It has been a long time, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing good. Living the dream.
Ooh, now that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Right.
So it has been a while, so we do a little bit of a catch-up. Last time you were here was a couple years ago. Now think about it.
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
While,
yeah. So what are you doing over there in Correct-Handed Comics these days?
So I am about 2 weeks away from publishing issue 25 of my ongoing series, The Offspring. Yeah, it's actually 25 marks the end of season 2. So this is going to be a trade for issue 23, 24, 25, and I'm going to throw a one-shot in the back of it also. And after I publish issue 25, I'm going to get season 2 omnibus up this summer. So I'm going to have Omnibus 1 collecting Season 1 and Omnibus 2 collecting Season 2 of my ongoing series, The Offspring. I'm super excited. I sometimes have to pinch myself to make sure that I'm not dreaming that I've actually gotten all this done.
That is insanity. Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah.
So for my viewing audience that is unfamiliar with the term omnibus, it is a massive collection of an entire series. And the fact of the matter is you have 25 issues. That is crazy. So in the first omnibus, is it going to be all 25 issues, or are you splitting that in half?
Yeah, I'm splitting it into seasons. I figure that's a good way to go for people. So the first omnibus was season 1, issues 1 through 12.
Okay.
And then the second season, issues 13 through 25, are going to be collected in the second volume omnibus. Like I said, I never thought I'd get here to have these characters for as long as I have and be able to actually tell the stories and be able to put it all together has been really, quite frankly, since I was 18 years old, a dream come true.
And this is absolutely bonkers because it's funny. The omnibus is a wild undertaking, to say the least. So with this omnibus, let's just take volume 1 in consideration. Are you going to be adding new art? Is it going to be like new splash pages? Like, what are you adding to try to spice it up a bit?
Yeah, so Omnibus 1 has been out for a while, so it's season 1 through, like I said, issue 1 through 12, and it really is just the really introducing the characters in the world, and I like to say action, adventure, creatures, and chaos. Introducing the kind of creatures, the kind of monsters, the kind of villains that these three protagonists will be going against. Introducing their inner struggles, because really, it's while the monsters are fun, the big bad guys are fun. It's really about these three characters and how they deal with going about their everyday lives, knowing that their lives will never really be normal. For a multitude of reasons, whether it's the abuse all three of them share from living with abusive parents as children, or these powers that have generated from that abuse, and how the three of them, and now in omnibus number 4, finding the fourth member of this group, that how these four kids are connected with each other, and how they start to realize that they're not just connected to each other, but connected to the universe as a whole, for some odd reason that I'm slowly starting to build up to in these stories.
Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy, and and I've always loved your drive, my friend. I've always loved your drive. If memory serves me correct, it's been a while, but you have a list of protagonists. There's gods of some sort, if memory serves me right. And yeah. So how have you been able to expand that universe since we first started? Because we've talked a couple years back. So from where it was to where it is now, where did we end up with our crescendo in that way?
Yeah, so the three main characters that we start off with, and we meet them in issue 1, the first story arc, issues 1 through 4, where they are at the worst point of their lives. One of them, Vince, I'll end with him. Sarah is just coming out of prison. Will is, I tried to handle all three of the main characters the way they face problems differently. Sarah ignores and pushes people away. Will is the one that seems to have it under control. But we start, as the series starts to progress, we start to see the cracks in his foundation about where he's starting to realize he can't just stuff it down. He's got to face these issues that he's dealing with. And Vince, when we first meet him, he's actually in such a bad spot, he attempts to commit suicide. So it's not all as dark and as gloomy as that, but that is the place where these characters start off with in the story. And as we grow the story, we start to realize that they are like a suction cup for just crazy monsters and mythological creatures and these godlike creatures called the In Us All.
There it is.
Which are the physical embodiment of human emotion. So there's the empathy in us all, there's the child in us all, there's the fight in us all, there's the malice in us all, there's the wisdom in us all. And these characters are kind of weaved in and out of the story. Sometimes they are manipulating the story, manipulating these characters. Sometimes they're just there and helping us to see how these stories are interconnected to each other. So from there, knowing that these godlike creatures are kind of always there manipulating the story for some reason that we kind of touch on in season 1, the end of season 1. There, I love to sprinkle in those characters that are going to help push each, those bad guys that are going to push each character's motivations forward. And really, in the end, what I'm trying to do is push these characters to their limits. Start to see how, and start to make sure that they know that they can't ignore these problems forever. So the problems are right there in their faces, whether they are their actual real world problems of dealing with each other and other people in the real world, or those monsters that are on some level manifestations of the problems that they're dealing with, whether it's ignoring it, whether it's hostility, whether it's not facing the problems or facing problems with inappropriate actions.
Of course.
It's continuing to grow these 3 characters, and now 4 characters in season 2. These 4 characters to be able to not only push them forward individually, but also kind of start to bring them together a little bit. As the 3 characters as season 2 goes on, the 3 first main characters, Will, Vince, and Sarah, are starting to come together. They're starting to realize that they can trust each other and that they have each other's backs. So that's when I throw a wrench in the system and create this 4th character who comes in and just pretty much just destroys it all on some level, to be able to say you can't trust anybody. So they start to back away from each other, and things start to happen to where they're like, oh, maybe I can't trust these other 3 people as much as they thought they could. So it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back sometimes with these characters, and that's really what one of the reasons that I wanted to create these characters, because that's life, isn't it?
And that's what I was about to allude to. I remember in our first conversation, I remember that you were mentioning that this was a story arc about the human condition. And to see that it has actually evolved over the years since we spoke, that is pretty cool, and that is impressive. So, David, how far are we taking the Offspring? Because we're already at 25 issues now, which even by my brain is out there already. So, how far are we taking this series, you think?
So I have the whole series mapped out. I know the last panel of the last page. And it's gonna be 54 issues.
Hold up, sweet Jesus!
Yeah, I tried to make it a solid 50, but as I was mapping the story out, I'm like, I need 4 more issues
every time
to be able to really finish up the stories. And a part of it for me is there will be issues that these characters will have that will never be there. They will never be resolved. They will always be with them. I think for me the line is, these issues, these problems that they face are just now a friend that accompanies them on the journey. They, whether it's their emotional issues, whether it's physical issues, whether it's issues with society, it's just always going to be with them. And it's not fixing the issue. It's coping with and understanding how to move forward with that issue still present in their lives. But I think I've got a pretty solid. I think I've got a pretty solid ending. One that's one that brings these characters full circle to be able to have some kind of closure for them.
Good, and I won't doubt it. 54 issues, you got something to be told. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So where can folks get their hands on the Offspring?
So on my website, correcthandedcomics.com, you can find links to all. I have a multitude of one-shots. I have a 100-page graphic novel, The Loved Ones, and I have a 4-issue miniseries called Evolution Utero, along with the soon-to-be 25 issues of The Offspring. And there are links to my Amazon. I sell most of my books through Amazon, and it seems to be a system that works out pretty well for me. I have physical copies. I do sell them at cons. I do print books out. But the Amazon model right now seems to really be working for me to be able to get as many eyes on the books as I possibly can. So it's a link right to where you can purchase them, and you can find links also on all my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you look up Correct Handed Comics, that little blue hand right here will pop up there, and you can click on it.
I love good branding. That's great. That's right. No,
I've been working on my marketing.
Well done. Well done. Well done. So do you have any events coming up? Any release dates locked in for
the 31st omnibus? Yeah, the 31st of this month is issue 25. Then July is going to be the volume 6 collecting issues 23, 24, 25, and our one-shot Will Aliens Do Our Homework. So it's going to be 4 issues, 3 of The Offspring and 1 of a one-shot. And then the omnibus is going to come out probably in August. I'm going to make sure that I have all those little goodies you were talking about, all the little behind-the-scene things, little extra stuff in there. But probably in August. By then, I will have the beginning of issue 26, season 3, which will probably come out October. Knowing me, knowing I can't sit still, probably
Obsessing?
September.
That the word you look for? Obsessing?
Yeah, sure. But I'm actually super excited. Also, I've started my second 100-plus page graphic novel. I had a story in mind about a very space drama saga, that kind of thing. And I wanted to really talk about morality and how we deal with ourselves as far as our lifespan, as far as our mortality, or in this case, the story, our immortality, how we pressure ourselves to always look like we're 18 years old, even when we're 60 years old. So it's a space adventure. It's got, I think it's got some really great fun characters. It's got some great action scenes, but some really good quiet moments. I think I've got a great ending that kind of ties all that obsession with always being youthful, even though we should be feeling like we get better with age, that we get smarter and more capable with age. I think it wraps it up pretty well, but it's called Latent Lightspeed, and it's about a scientist who is dying, who has kind of made his own fountain of youth. His daughter is with him, who is also a scientist. They have there's a species who is dying of a virus, who is trying to get this scientist who's essentially trying to kidnap the Latent Lightspeed to be able to fix their illnesses, to be able to save their society, but they're not doing it in a very good way. So a lot of those side characters I think that are really fun, and I've tried to create something that was like very space opera, drama, action, sci-fi, and I think it's going to be really cool. I put out I have a cover. I put out some TikToks about it, but I haven't really done much more promoting of it, because I wanted a few more things before I started promoting it really big time. So I'm going to finish the cover over the summer. I'm going to get going on the first 25 pages over the summer, and I'm hoping to have that done, fingers crossed, like November, December, right before Christmas, to be able to have that out and for people to be able to pick up. So I'm super excited about it. I've wanted to do the story for a long time, and I'm going to do it come hell or high water. It's coming out.
Oh, I don't doubt that. And as always, David, you're burning the candle at both ends. And no, in fact, add 2 more sticks to the same one.
I've got wicks just coming out of the wax there.
Burn them all. But that is tremendous, and I'm so glad that you are doing so well with Correct Handed Comics and all the great stuff that you're doing over there. Trust me, I know how tough it is, and to see that you're still grinding out, it's a tremendous thing. So as always, I always appreciate you coming on and sharing all your wonderful stuff with me, my friend.
Well, thank you so much for having me on again. I appreciate it. I was concerned that it had been too long, and you were like, "Forget that guy." But and I have to say to you, I said this off camera to you, but I have to say that I feel like I see you all the time because you're constantly working, constantly getting content out there, and I'm like, "Oh, there's Dre. Hey, Dre, how you doing?" But even though you can't see me, so I want to congratulate you on all the hard work that you do.
Thank you, David.
Constantly getting content out. It's amazing.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I always tell my wife, thank God I'm not balding, but good God, I never had eyebrows to begin with. So they're dropping off even faster. But this has been tremendous. I'm going to leave all the links of David's great work in the description section below. Check out Corrected Handed Comics.
Awesome.
As always, I love to say on the show, David's doing the Lord's work. He's doing tremendous things. And support him on all those dates that he listed off earlier. Make sure you get the omnibus, which I am super impressed with. Definitely everybody check that out. Check him out on their social medias. And David, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Dre. Again, thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. So that is David Whalen, everybody. And who am I? I'm Dre, the Brute Daniels. Follow me on my dope social media platforms. I'll put them right under my face. Not there yet, but there will be. At the Brute00 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If I feel like being silly, on TikTok. And do all those great YouTube things like comment, subscribe, and share the video. As always, you guys have been awesome. And I'll catch you all next time. Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the SpinWiz app and check out my comic series Trouble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.